So I'm going to go through several slides here just to build foundation about character. I always take an academic approach, so here we go. All right, let's first define, got to get the right glasses on, define character. So as we go through these slides, if you would, apply it to yourself and ask yourself, how are you doing? So, defining character is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. That means it could be distinctive, different for each and every one of us. So what do you mean by character? Character of a person consists of all the qualities that she or he has that makes him or her distinct from other people. You use character to say what kind of person someone is. For example, if you say that someone is of strange character, you actually mean that that person is strange. How about the 6 pillars of character? Trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. So do you all have these 6 pillars of character within your heart? So what is good character? In general, people who are considered to have good character often have traits like integrity, honesty, courage, loyalty, fortitude, and other virtues that promote good behavior. A person with good character does the right thing because they believe that it is the right thing to do. So what defines a person's character? Character defined in how your habits, your motives, thoughts are related to morality, particularly as it concerns integrity. Character was defined as your moral self, the crown of a moral life, and referred to as a moral structure, something you built through good behavior. So how do you show character? By being honest, and this is the key component of anyone's character. Build your self-awareness. Gain more self-control, practice integrity, take responsibility for your mistakes and make things right. Take calculated risks, the good kind. Practice patience, and also ask someone that you trust for feedback, something that I could do more often myself. So, your character is the sum of all the qualities that make you who you are. Your values, your thoughts, your words, your actions. It is the outward expression of your choices. It influences the decision you make. It actually molds your life. So, how are you doing? Are you a person of good character? Now, I've known many of you for quite some time now. I can honestly say yes. Yes. But can we do better? Yes, we can do better. Here's Don Shula. You all know that I love sports. There is a particular show that I've probably seen 50 of them. It's called A Football Life, and it's just about a story. It's an hour long of individuals who have dedicated their life to the game of football, players and coaches alike. So here's Don Shula, the most winningest coach in NFL history. As a player and as a coach, he has spent over 50 years of his life dedicated to the sport of football. I will share this with you. You all might have heard that sport builds character. I'll never forget one of my professors back at the University of New Mexico. He says, well, let me propose this. All right, you've all heard that sport builds character, but maybe sport allows one to express their character. Why is it that we have so many violations in sport at all levels, year after year after year? Is it because it's allowing people to express their character? It's not good character. So, 1970, the Miami Dolphins were playing for the AFC Championship game against the Oakland Raiders. Next stop for the winner, the Super Bowl. Due to some construction needed before the AFC Championship game, both teams needed to share the same locker room. Quite sure not at the same time, though. One of Shula's assistants found a copy of the Raiders playbook in one of the lockers. The assistant who found the playbook approached another assistant to show him what he found. They both decided to present the playbook to their head coach, Don Shula. Shula's response? Throw it away. Now, get this, everybody. You have got your opponent's playbook. You beat your opponent. You're going to the Super Bowl. But he says, throw it away. The Miami Dolphins lost to the Oakland Raiders 20-19. And after losing this all-important AFC Championship game, Shula's response? Let's get ready for the next season. I would call this the epitome of good character. Here's a picture of Chief Red Jacket. In the summer of 1805, a number of Indian chiefs and warriors met in the council at Buffalo Creek, New York, to hear a presentation of the Christian message by a Mr. Cram from the Boston Missionary Society. And after the sermon, a response was given by Red Jacket, one of the leading chiefs. Brother, you say that there is but one way to worship and serve the Great Spirit. If there is but one religion, then why do you white people differ so much about it? Why not all agree, as you all read from the same book? You know, you could do a search, everybody. I remember back in 1987 when I made the decision to dedicate my life to the Lord and become a Christian. At the time, there was roughly around 450 different churches around the country. Then I moved to Bemidji, get my job here, did a little search, then it jumped to over 900. There's over 1,000 different churches throughout the United States today. And yet we all use the same book. So back in 1805, still true today. Brother, we are told that you have been preaching to the white people in this place. These people are our neighbors. We are acquainted with them. We will wait a little while and see what effect your preaching has upon them. If we find it does good, makes them honest and less willing to cheat Indians, we will then consider again what you have to say. So what if everyone waited to see what effect our religion, our teachings had on us before they decide to accept it? How many people would accept our religion, our teaching, based on them observing the difference that it made in our lives? People who are not believers are living all around us. The Apostle Peter, in his first letter, said that people like Chief Red Jacket are watching our every move to see what kind of difference our faith makes in our lives. Live such good lives among the pagans that, though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. The word see means to observe, not a passing glance, but a concentrated effort. People are making mental notes on us. People are watching us, whether we like it or not, especially if we claim to be a believer. What do they watch? Like Chief Red Jacket, they watch to see our behavior matches our belief, if our walk matches our talk, if our character matches our confession. If we claim to believe on Sunday, it's put into practice Monday through Saturday. In other words, they watch to see if we have integrity. The hallmark of the Christian life is integrity. Isn't that what Chief Red Jacket wanted to see in the white people? If they were good, honest, and not given to cheating. Integrity is a high standard of living based on a personal code of morality that doesn't succumb to the whim of the moment or the dictates of the majority. Integrity is the personal character what health is to the body or 20/20 vision is to our eyes. A person of integrity is whole. Their lives are put together. People with integrity have nothing to hide and nothing to fear. As Solomon wrote, the man of integrity walks securely, but he who takes crooked paths will be found out. People with integrity, their lives are open books. They say to a watching world, go ahead, look. My behavior will match my beliefs, my walk will match my talk, and my character will match my confession. Who am I on Sunday will be the same on Monday and every other day of the week. Without a doubt, Jesus is the perfect model of integrity. His life confirmed his purity and excellent character that his enemies could only declare. They came to him and said, Teacher, we know that you are a man of integrity. You aren't swayed by others because you paid no attention to who they are, but you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar or not? As we all know the story, give to Caesar what is Caesar, give to God what is God. Even toward the conclusion of Jesus' life, here on earth as he stood before Pilate. Then Pilate announced to the chief priests and the crowd, I find no basis for a charge against this man. Sure, his enemies charged everything, but in the end, there was nothing. There was no basis for guilt, no evidence of fault found in Jesus. In other words, his behavior matched his beliefs, his walk matched his talk, and his character matched his confession. It is for these reasons that Peter instructed all believers. To this you were called because Christ suffered for you, living you as an example that you should follow in his steps. Peter gives us the example, the model of integrity that we should follow. If the world is watching us, then we should be watching Christ. We should follow his example, and we should do as he has done. Amen? All right. There's a book. I've never read it. Came across it, though, of preparing for this message and reading all the commentaries that I've done, called In His Steps by Charles Shelton. So Charles Shelton delivered a series of messages to his Topeka, Kansas church about a community of believers that began to model the behavior the character, the walk of Jesus. He took as his text 1 Peter 2:21, that his sermons were compiled into a book titled In His Steps, which became an instant bestseller. Take a little break here. Steve, Paul, Matthew, Mike's not here today, Daryl, Ben, all of you have given pretty awesome messages. I'm just saying, you could write a book. The story turns on the response of key church members to the challenge of their minister. He requests that they join him in a pledge that for 1 year they will make no major decision without first asking, what would Jesus do? Through this simple yet profound challenge, the life of Christ is manifested through individuals in this story in amazing ways. The narrative deals with the presence and model of Christ, influencing churches, homes, work settings, communities, and the entire country. It realistically captures the excitement and joy, but also sacrifice and pain that mark individual lives that follow in Jesus' steps. The same challenge is presented even today. Will we walk in Jesus' steps? Will we follow his model? Will we make a pledge that before any major decision to ask, what would he do? In other words, will we live a life of integrity? But how is integrity practiced on a daily basis? Where do people watch us most closely? Peter answers that question. He identifies several arenas where integrity is put to the test, with the watching world observing our reaction. He also provides practical solutions to take in those arenas so that our integrity will stay intact. So here are the arenas. In tempting circumstances, in authoritative situations in the work environment, and even in suffering. So in tempting circumstances, stay away. Dear friends, I urge you as aliens and strangers in the world to abstain from sinful desires, which wage war against your soul. To abstain means not to get involved with or to keep away from. So here's a little story. Once I had a student in my youth group that went off to college. This is a commentary that I read. I never had a youth group, everybody. On his first break from school, he came home and stopped by to see me. He told me how he had been invited to a fraternity party. Rick, you wouldn't believe what was there. Free alcohol, drugs, willing girls, and much more. I was astounded. What did you do? I ran out of there as fast as I could. In tempting situations, we are to flee, to run, get away. And that means avoiding all situations that you easily fall into temptation. And we all know our struggles, all right? Run, everybody. Run the other way. In authoritative situations, show respect. So here's a verse, 1 Peter. Submit yourselves to the Lord's sake for every human authority instituted among men, whether the king or the governors, who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to condemn those who do right. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the brotherhood of believers. Fear God. Honor the king. Peter instructs us to respect the government and the one who enforces the laws for the government. We are to submit or to authority. Yielding to the authority is the mark of a believer. Like coming to a yield sign when driving a car means letting the other guy have his or her way first. Yielding is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of self-control. It is saying, I don't have to have it my way first all the time. Integrity says, I may not like the law, but I will obey it. Integrity says, I may not like the person in the office, but I will honor the position. Integrity says, I may not like direction the nation is going, but I will pray for God's intervention. Integrity says, I will obey God first, even if it means that I suffer the penalty for doing the right thing. That is a hard challenge, everybody. But you will be blessed. In the work environment, stand for what is right. Slaves, submit yourselves to your masters with all respect, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. Now, slavery was prevalent in the Roman Empire. It has been documented that some 60 million people were slaves. They were not considered persons, but rather property of their owners. So let's just change 2 words here. Employees, submit yourselves to your employers with all respect, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. Well, I've been doing my career now for 24 years. I've had good and considerate supervisors, and I have had harsh supervisors. As believers in Christ, our integrity goes to work with us. It manifests itself in the way we treat our boss, our clients, and fellow employees. It also manifests itself in the way we respond to company procedures and policies, to difficult and sometimes unjust assignments, and the workplace itself. It further manifests itself in our attitude and convictions and honesty we display at the workplace. Remember, everyone in the workplace are watching us. Integrity demands that we stand for what is right and the upright thing to do all the time. I read about a salesman who was on the brink of retirement and was involved in a potential sale that could possibly net him $100,000 commission. Not a bad way to go out. The only problem, in order to make the deal work, he would have to be somewhat deceptive when he presented the product to the customer. But upon consideration concerning his integrity, he decided to tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. He told the customer the complete truth, and it cost him the sale. The salesman did what was right, keeping his moral character intact. He lost a $100,000 commission. In another story I read, 2 friends owned an extremely profitable business. They put it up for sale and gave their word that, pending a few details, they would sell only to a particular buyer. They made this commitment on a Friday. However, over the weekend, they received another offer that would have netted them an enormously higher profit. Unsure of what they should do, you can make a lot of money here. They spent the rest of the weekend praying with their wives. By Sunday night, they all agreed that their word must be their bond. On Monday morning, they called the second buyer and turned down the better offer. The 2 friends kept their word and did what was right, keeping their moral character intact. In suffering, seek God. For it is commendable if a man bears up under the pain of unjust suffering because he is conscious of God. The greatest test of integrity is how we respond to suffering. Nothing reveals one's character quicker than problems and pain. When we go through suffering, it really reveals what we're like. It has been said Christians are like tea bags. One doesn't know what they're like until they are in hot water. Fact, we will experience suffering. We will have problems. We will have pain. The question is, how will we deal with it? People are watching to see just how we react to the misfortunes and sufferings of this world. During suffering, seek God. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, what are you trying to teach me, God? I enjoyed learning about this woman back in grade school, Helen Keller. Helen Keller was right. Although the world is full of suffering, it is full also of overcoming it. She also said that it was because of her blindness that she was able to see God. Here are the facts. Our character is put to the test every day in virtually every situation. We are being watched closely to see how we will respond. The choice of our walk matching our talk, our behavior matching our beliefs, and our character matching our confession is left to us. I like this. Character is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. Thank you, everybody.